G'day guys, welcome to PBHQ Live, episode number 362. I am Dwayne Nichols. It is early, it's just after 7 here, rather than 8 p.m. I've been battling back and forth all day with a bit of man flu, and I was sort of unsure up until even recently whether I was going to go ahead with the show tonight, just sort of feeling pretty ordinary, but I'd prepared everything, and I figured it was a waste of time to spend most of the day preparing things and not actually get on with the show. So whether you're here now or if you're watching back on playback after the fact, well, thank you for checking out the show. If you are in, I know it's early, drop a comment in the chat and say g'day. Yeah, Alex saying, did daylight savings happen? No, I think that happens in October. It's just by virtue of me feeling not all that great and just wanting to get it done. And the normal lighting that I do with the show, I don't have any of my lighting on. It just feels like my eyes are on fire if I have them on. So if it looks a little bit dim, I apologize for that. But my version of it here, it doesn't look all too bad. So I'm pretty much just going to punch through things fairly quickly, mention what I have spoke to a couple of people about from the weekend, and then wrap it up for tonight. Paintball shop, they've got 15% off freak barrels. This is a deal just for PBHQ. The code is freaky time. If you go to their website, you'll be able to purchase any freak barrels. That is all the freak barrels. I assume it includes the inserts too, and the kits, although it does just say barrels, so I might have to clarify that with the guys. But yeah, check it out. When I last spoke to Mike going back a little while ago, and Mike's obviously been off work lately, as a lot of us found out over the weekend, the amount of color combos that are now available in freak kits is just wild. So yeah, surely whatever gun you've got, you can find yourself a barrel to match. Head over to paintballshop.com and pick up one if you so wish. I see that Bluey is in. Thanks for joining in. James Rich too. And Susan is in, and Connor. Yeah, so thank you for joining in, albeit a little bit early for tonight's show. Gladiator, they want to wish the boys from STK good luck this weekend in Singapore. I'll be speaking about this event very briefly in just a little bit. But STK, obviously one of Gladiator's long-standing sponsored teams, are heading over. But they're not the only Australian team that will be featuring in Singapore this weekend. So hopefully all of the Australian teams do well over there across both divisions. And now I've got to run through, over the weekend, the NXL Chicago was on. Hopefully you were able to watch some of the games. Like I mentioned at the start, I've been feeling very average today. Over the weekend, I wasn't too bad. But yeah, I definitely didn't feel like getting up in the middle of the night and watching paintball. I was trying to get as much sleep as I could over the weekend. So I haven't seen any of the games. I've seen some photos. I've seen the results. The field, by the time finals rolled around, looked disgusting. The semi-pro field in particular looked crazy. Blue saying, see you in Cost in a couple of weeks. Yeah, man, that event is packed, by the way. 20 teams sold out. So NXL Chicago, Damage got the win. Unreal photo here, by the way, of Keith Brown. Really, really good photo. I noticed that he was using a Spire when other guys were out there. Some of the guys on Damage were using Halo loaders. Just wild to see a loader that's over 20 years old still getting used out on the pro field. And not even a high-end loader too, like a mid-end electronic loader, the Halo, getting used out there. So yeah, crazy, but Damage got the win. Houston Heat, second place. If I bring this screen up here, you can see the overall results after 4 events. So Dynasty, 2 wins and 2/3. Damage, their Lone Star, so their Texas event where they got 10th, that's just costing them a chance at the season title. 2 firsts and a second. They've been one of the most consistent teams throughout the course of the year, but really it's still Dynasty's tournament season to lose. They've been the best team for the last 3 or 4 years, if not the best team for the majority of the past 20 years. They're still doing good things, so congratulations to Damage on the win, and to Dynasty on just continuing their success. Heat are sneaking up, X Factor are close by, and then it's essentially everybody else. The one that I just wanted to highlight quickly as a big improver was the Russian Legion. Got some of their key guys back over the weekend, and they got a 6th place, their first Sunday result of the year. That's where they belong. They're not a team that should be finishing 15th and 19th and that type of thing. Latin Saints, they'll be relegated. There's no way, if I scroll down a little further, there's no way those guys are going to make it out this season. And then it'll come down to Paintball Fit and Blast Camp, who have finished 1st and 2nd respectively at all 4 events in the semi-pro. See who will be taking that pro spot. Paintball Fit, of course, is a lot of the guys from AC Dallas, a former pro team. So, yeah, it's fair to say that they've been dominating the semi-pro division, but Blast Camp have been right there as well. And then even the newbies have got 3rd, 3 out of the 4 events. So, real standouts in that division. I think you could see all 3 of those teams do good things in the pro division. But as far as I'm aware, it is still only one team that gets relegated. So, that is looking how it'll be at the end of the year, that Latin Saints drop out. And if Paintball Fit can go through at the World Cup and continue their winning ways, they will take the spot. Luke from Make It Rain joining in, and Reese also. Alex saying STK Entourage and Nomads going to. Yeah, so I will mention that in just a little bit. And I wanted to scroll down here just a little bit further. The Manawatu Titans had their worst result in the 4 events that they've headed over to the States for this year. They finished 21st of, I think, 25 teams this time around. They only got the 1 win, and it was by 1 point. And with the point spread, the way that things work, some of their losses were big losses. Their win was a close win. So, yeah, they finished in 21st for the weekend. Not a great result. I haven't reached out to Dave because I've been feeling miserable. I just really didn't reach out to too many people at all. I got the key information that I needed to mention tonight on tonight's show. But hopefully I can speak to the guys in the next couple of weeks and give you an update. They're still sitting 14th, which is where they were sitting. Excuse me. They were sitting in 14th leading into the weekend. It's exactly the same. So it hasn't affected them overall for the season, but no Sunday events so far for those guys. Still World Cup to come, so hopefully they have a better showing there. Reese is saying, who's keen for Rush? Man, as far as I know, there's like 100 players keen for Rush. It is looking like it is going to be a massive, massive event. Probably one of the biggest in Australia for this year, so really good to see that. What else do I have to mention here? And the other event that happened over the weekend that had a little bit of an Australian flavour here. This is a photo of Hunter, who plays with STK Entourage, who was out playing with the Wise Guys in Malaysia at the MXBL. They had their final event for the year. Beeswaxes got the win. Imperia and Savages rounded out the podium. Savages, in fact, got 1st overall for the season. There was also Division 2 at the event. I don't have the results from that one. I did see some photos. This photo by Axe Media by One Matt. Unreal photos. Such good quality photos there. Liking the color combo, the jersey and the gun and the tank and the spire. The Hunter here. I don't know if that was a borrowed bit of gear or if that was his personal stuff, but looks pretty sweet. His team, the Wise Guys, actually finished 4th at the event. So congratulations everyone involved in that. Dave, the organizer of the event, I think the MXBL in Malaysia and Asia generally is becoming sort of like the upper echelon. It's where the good teams, the best teams want to be playing. Throughout Asia, it's sort of tied much with Singapore that I'm about to mention in a sec. The MXBL, everyone is so positive about the MXBL when I talk about it, and they all got the teams that finished on the podiums. They all got rings at this event, engraved MXBL rings for their podium placing. So really cool idea, and there's photos of that up online if you wanted to go and check them out. I just thought it was cool to see. Obviously, the Super Sevens is the only one here in Australia that's ever done anything similar, but really cool to check those out if you haven't seen them already. There was a live stream over the weekend. Again, didn't get to check that out. Alex saying he wanted one of those rings so bad. Yeah, I think when you've played a lot of paintball, which, Alex is getting up there in the amount of events now, there's only like trophies are awesome. Everyone loves trophies. Medals, in my opinion, so, but it makes sense. Medals are easy, they're affordable for event organizers to give out. I don't know if I've got any here. Moment. Oh, I've got some other ones I can show you. Going back a few years, Raw, which was the precursor to NXL, they used to do these glass ones. They were pretty cool. Good to see you in, Dave. And we do glassware here in Wagga. I'm surprised I don't have one of my own. Wait a minute. Yeah, I do. Oh, no. This is an NXL one, but same deal. Glassware, really cool when you... I don't even know where we... Oh, that's... It's got no emboss on there. I don't know where we finished at that event, but I think there's a whole bunch of cool ideas out there, but the MXBL doing rings... really, really cool. So shout out to Dave and just everyone involved with the MXBL. I'm not sure what's left over there in Malaysia for the year as far as events are concerned. But yeah, really, really cool. Results from that one. And Alex is in at the moment, and I didn't queue up. I'll see if I saved it to my computer, if I can bang it in real quick whilst we're sort of whilst I'm live and half-assing this on the fly. Let me see if this is possible. Yeah. I'm going to disappear for about 15 seconds, and I'm going to load a little video in that Alex organized for me for the weekend. So just hang tight. I'll see if I can get this in nice and quick.
Yo, we're out here in Thailand. My man's out here jousting. He's getting his skills tight. Shout out to Paintball Headquarters HQ. We want you in Australia to start jousting. This brother's going to take it back. He's going to teach you the ways. Play these one-on-ones, get really good, sharpen each other's skills, make paintball great again.
Make paintball great again. Let's do it. Paintball.
Yeah, so that was Alex out in Thailand on the weekend at Speed Airsoft and Paintball with Ollie Lang. In some people's minds, the GOAT. And going back a few years, I was in that camp until he stepped away from the game and Greenspan surpassed him, at least in my opinion. But there's no doubting he is one of the all-time elite players. Well, he held one of his jousts, the Hormesis 1v1 jousts over in Thailand that Alex was a part of on the weekend. And they were talking about trying to get that out to Australia at some point. So if there's a field out there that wants to host it, if there's players that want to play that format, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Speak up. I'd be happy to host it. I don't know what's involved, but if people want to be involved in something like that, have Ollie come out to Australia and do one of the 1v1 jousts or duels, then by all means, I think that would be very cool. And shout out to Alex for playing the event, being a part of it. He's sort of embedded himself in the Thailand paintball scene now after leaving Australia and heading over there. And then also thinking ahead, speaking to Ollie about Australia and getting the word out about us. Hopefully we can make that happen in the future. David saying, get a team together into the D3 in 2 weeks. So yeah, the MXBL, whilst Division 1 and 2 was on over the weekend, just gone, Division 3 is coming up. And if Dave mentions the podium for Division 2 in the comments section, I'll be sure to read it out in just a little bit. I didn't have a graphic prepared for tonight. So I don't actually have the results from that one. Events coming up this weekend. One Mad's in at the moment too. I've already given him a bit of a shout out on the photography skills. The Singapore Paintball Series is coming up. 9 teams in the Open Division, 10 teams in the M's. I think that's their biggest event, at least in my recent memory. Field layout is here. I'm not sure why this photo, it sort of looks like it's a screenshot of a screenshot or something. The quality is way down, but this is what they uploaded on the Singapore Paintball Series, which it's unusual for those guys. I've not seen them put out low quality images before, but for whatever reason, you can still make out the field layout. It's no issue. The only thing that I looked at the layout earlier today that I thought is that it might be hard on the Dorito side in particular to name everything. You've got 3 or 4 Doritos in each half of the field, as well as the wings, as well as the little wing on the 50. yeah, the insect cans, the big bricks up in the middle, just a bit of effort and creativity you have to go into that one to getting your bunkers named. Snake side's a little bit more typical. You'll be able to come up with your call outs and whatnot for that. Pretty simple. But yeah, shout out to Ben and the guys. And someone mentioned, and I again haven't followed up on this, that this might be the last Singapore Paintball Series at their current location. There was talk of them finding a new location for Red Dynasty Paintball Park. So yeah, I don't know if that's the case. I haven't followed up anybody today. I spent most of the afternoon just laying on the lounge feeling sorry for myself. Brad Short saying, "Are you on early?" Yeah, I am, and I mentioned it earlier at the start, but I've just been feeling crap, and I prepared everything for the show, and I was about to post up and say, "Hey, I'm just not going to do it." But given that I put all the effort into preparing it, I was like, I just got to soldier on and do it. So I've hit up. I literally brought him out here, smashing the codrils, getting through it to do my best that I can for tonight. Alex is saying it is the last time at the location. The government is reclaiming the land. Yeah, okay. I didn't know that. Hopefully they've got a new location sorted, because I know Singapore, if there's one thing about Singapore, is that there's not just like an abundance of land generally across the whole country. It's a pretty small joint. So hopefully they can find some land to continue running the Singapore Paintball Series in the future. Yeah, cheers, Brad. Hopefully I will. It's actually the two biggest days of the year at my field, tomorrow and Wednesday. Got 80 school kids playing tomorrow, 60 school kids on Wednesday. So I'm just going to have to soldier on, really. I've got no choice. Thankfully, I've got a few blokes helping out who are going to do a bit of the heavy lifting. Luke saying COVID again. I hope not. Yeah, well, I don't have any way of testing. I don't think so, though. I've only had COVID the once, and it smashed me way worse than this did. But yeah, hopefully not. I feel not too bad when I've had the meds, but yeah, we'll see. Righto. Oh, the other event coming up this weekend, and I didn't load the graphic in, I apologize, but the NXL Victoria, their 3-man is coming up. Max Varley has organised. There will be 6 teams out there at Coldstream for the event. Spoke with Sarah very briefly earlier this morning. She said Max has been working away on this one, that he's got 6 teams out there. So off the back of NXL, off the back of Snipers then, sorry, in Victoria, having 8 teams a couple of weeks ago, the NXL has 6 teams. It's good to see. I don't know how much crossover there is there in Victoria, but at least there is people out playing paintball. And if those guys can get together later in this year or at the beginning of next year and start running 5-man paintball again, I think that would benefit everybody in Victoria. Billy saying a couple of the Outlaw boys will be there. There'll be nothing for 6 months, and then they have one last time. Couple of the Outlaw boys, there'll be nothing for 6 months, and then they have one last time. Oh, the last time that you spoke. I see. I'm now reading it correctly. Yeah, well, hopefully it's not too long until the new field's up and going again in Singapore, because it has been a bit of a hub for Asian paintball generally, not just Singapore. If you see the team list, and I don't have it queued up for tonight, but there was teams from, I think, like Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, maybe Brunei, and then other players from elsewhere, all converging on Singapore this weekend. So that's massive to draw in people from so many countries. Like you think of an event like, use the Super Sevens as an example, that drags in people from like Newcastle and Wagga and Dubbo and whatever, from a couple of different towns to Sydney. Well, to get people from that many different countries, that's nuts. And don't be sorry for rocking up late, Billy. I sort of jumped the gun and just started whilst I was feeling decent enough to get on with it. So yeah, NXL Vic coming up this weekend. Singapore Paintball Series. I would have to assume that there'll be a live stream for that. Check it out. Dom and Ben and the guys do a really good job over there with those. Birthdays this week, and birthdays today. Phoebe and Scott Herbert from Spitfire Indoor Paintball. Dave, Pete, Donovan, Jeremy, Johnny Robert, Jesse Wheeler, all celebrating birthdays. Geez, there'd be a half-decent team there between Johnny, Jeremy, Dave. Yeah, man, Pete Martin, Donovan. Yeah, that's a pretty... You could get a birthday team together from the September 18 through 23 team there. They'd be pretty hard to beat. Jesse being one of the... more predominantly a photographer, up in Queensland. Maybe he could make his way down and take some photos of the team as well. Looks like a solid lineup. That's excuse me, pretty much everything for tonight that I had to mention. I think, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. So thank you for joining in, albeit early, albeit briefly, for tonight's episode of the show. Hopefully I'm sweet and back on deck for a big one next week. I have the results of the Singapore Paintball Series and the NXL down in Victoria, as well as previews for the big one coming up in a couple of weeks' time at Coffs Harbour Rush with over 20 teams. I just see that Kyle James is saying, I know something you don't know. I'm just going to pause. Hopefully he's still in. I'm going to pause for like 30 seconds and see if he'll either message me directly or if he'll drop it in the comments, because there's no secrets around here. We tell everybody what's going on. Thank you to the couple of people that watched over on YouTube, as well as it looked like predominantly Facebook tonight that everyone was able to check in. Justin Knight joining in. There's a name I haven't seen in a long time. And Luke saying, might need the PBHQ logo. I can get you that, mate. That's not too hard at all. You flick me a message when we're done and I'll find it somewhere in my files and send it over. That's it. I haven't seen anything more from Kyle, so I'll leave it there. I'll catch you next Monday. Bye.